Hey, what's up, dreamers, thinkers, and those just vibing? Welcome to High Tides and Hot Truths. I'm Natalie, and I just want to go ahead and give a little disclaimer that today's topic is a little bit of a sensitive subject, but it's something I feel as if needs to really be talked about. I do have some notes mocked up in a little outline, so if you see me glancing over at my notes, please don't mind. It's just to ensure that I, for one, stay on topic, and this video is not 3 hours long, and for two, I always want to make sure that anything I bring to y'all is factual, and I want to make sure that I'm speaking facts and not just opinion, although I will have some opinion, in here too. It is my channel, so yeah. Anyways, people keep telling me that I'm fear-mongering for being scared that LGBTQ plus rights, especially gay marriage, are up on the chopping block. And I don't think that it's that far-fetched to feel like that's the case, because I don't really think any of us expected that Roe versus Wade was going to be overturned. I don't feel as if many of us thought that 50 years of federally protected abortion rights would just be wiped away with the vote of the Supreme Court, but here we are. So why shouldn't I be terrified that our other rights are not next? So before we get into this, I really want to be clear. I'm not just speaking as somebody who is a pro-choice lesbian. I'm speaking as somebody who used to be extremely conservative and deeply religious. Almost 12 years ago to the day, I was on a pro-life march in Washington, D.C. So I myself was raised in a Christian environment. I was extremely pro-life, and I genuinely believed that marriage was sacred between a man and a woman. I've been on both sides of the debate, and that's why I don't take these concerns lightly. I've spent years, literal years, trying to deconstruct what I was taught and separate fact from fear-based rhetoric. And I feel as if that's something that I want to discuss in another video at a later date, but we'll get into that then. So, no matter how you personally feel about abortion or same-sex marriage, separation of church and state exists for a reason. If we allow religious beliefs to dictate our laws, then we're actively stripping away rights from those who don't share those beliefs, and that's scary. And whether you're religious or not, that should concern you, because it quite literally goes against everything America was founded on. So we were told over and over again that overturning Roe versus Wade wasn't about abortion, rather than giving it back to the states. But I want to be very, very clear that the GOP is pushing federal anti-abortion legislation such as H.R. 722, the 14th Amendment Fetal Personhood Bill. This would legally define a fetus as a person making abortion murder under federal law. So clearly, that's just one. The other one is the Life at Conception Act. This would ban abortion nationwide, overriding state laws completely. So let's take a little rewind back. Okay, do you like my little rewind noise? I thought it was pretty spot on. So the Life at Conception Act would ban abortion nationwide, overriding state laws completely. So how does that go about giving it back to the states? Because in my personal opinion, that seems to really go against giving it back to the states and making it a federal thing. But, it was never about states' rights to begin with. It was a deliberate strategy to first dismantle federal protections to push for a full ban. I'm going to read that part back one more time, too. It was never about states' rights. It was a deliberate strategy. Can I read that back? Let's try that one more time. It was a deliberate strategy to first dismantle federal protections and push for a full ban. So, why should I not suspect that they would try to do the same thing? They already lied about abortion. Why should we believe them when they say they won't come after the LGBTQ plus rights next? Especially with them trying to actively erase the T and all of that. But once again, that's something that we can discuss in another video. So, it's not some wild conspiracy theory. They're quite literally telling us what they plan to do. Justice Clarence Thomas literally wrote, in his opinion on the Roe versus Wade decision, the Supreme Court should reconsider other rulings, such as Obergefell versus Hodges, which legalizes same-sex marriage. Lawrence versus Texas, which decriminalizes same-sex relationships. He literally said that they should reconsider other things like Lawrence versus Texas, which decriminalizes same-sex relationships, and Griswold versus Connecticut, which protects the rights to contraception, which we're already seeing try to, become a thing. They're trying to give that back to the states. So I think the most ironic part to this all is they're literally going through parts of Project 2025, which they said Trump had nothing to do with, like a to-do checklist, and just marking parts off at this point. So, yeah, that's a little crazy. That's a little wild. So Roe versus Wade lasted 50 years and it was still overturned, whereas same-sex marriage has only been federally legal since 2015. I want y'all to keep in mind that although we're in 2025 right now, it still hasn't even been a full 10 years that same-sex marriage has been federally legalized and recognized. So if abortions weren't safe after 5 decades, what in our ever right minds would give us the sense of mind that we think our marriages and our rights are protected? Because it sure doesn't feel that way. If me as a woman, my rights have already been stripped, what makes me think me as a gay woman, my rights are not going to continue to be stripped? Especially growing up in the Bible Belt and being made to feel ashamed of who I am literally every single day. Even still to this day, people are so hateful and homophobic that it makes me genuinely ashamed to be who I am. And that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking, especially from people who are supposed to be Christ-like and make you feel loved, because we are all supposedly children of God. But yeah, we can get back into that in another time. I'm going on a little ADHD tangent, so let's get back to my notes. Ooh, all right, cool. So this isn't paranoia. This is not paranoia. This is historical pattern recognition. And that is why history is so important. And that is why staying educated is so important. And that is why people who try to act so neutral and nonchalant and like this doesn't faze them are quite literally so dangerous, because the way that people vote for an administration like we are in now is by being complicit and not being properly informed. And the reason that the administration we're pushing for right now is trying to get rid of things like the Department of Education is because they really enjoy the fact that Americans seem to not want to educate themselves or be educated. And that's scary because, you know, it's a lot easier to lead non-educated people and convince them of things than it is those who take time to educate themselves. But I just keep giving myself a ton of future video ideas. So, yes. Anyways, once again, ADHD tangent, back to my notes. If you think they won't actually take your rights away, let's just take a look at things that are already happening. In Virginia, the GOP lawmakers refused to remove a same-sex marriage ban from the state constitution. And I'm pretty sure that Trump's, I can't think of the word right now, but like media personnel literally tried to say that the US Constitution is unconstitutional. And I have a Myrtle Beach education, but can somebody make that make sense to me? Can somebody explain that to me like I'm 5? What do you mean the US Constitution is unconstitutional? That doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. Regardless, and in Idaho, Republicans passed a resolution asking the Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell so they could reinstate a marriage ban. I can't even, I'm so heated, sorry. That is absolutely astronomical. Let's try to say that 5 times fast. That's just crazy to me. If Obergefell is overturned, that literally will have 30 states, 30 out of our 50 states that have old anti-gay marriage laws that'll immediately go into effect. That's so just mind-blowing to me. It's just baffling. So no, this isn't some hypothetical. They literally have the groundwork in place. So I would say that I'm very, very far past fear-mongering now. So let's talk about some double standards at play here, though. Okay. The hypocrisy is what gets me. The hypocrisy. They say banning guns will not stop people from getting guns. But banning abortions is going to magically stop abortions. But banning LGBTQ rights is just going to suddenly, all of a sudden, make us not exist. We just, poof, we're gone. That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay, so if banning something doesn't stop it from happening, why does that logic only apply to guns and not people's bodily autonomy or the right to exist freely? I keep finding things that I feel like I need to repeat because I feel like so many people don't understand, and it's just such basic knowledge and understanding to me that I don't understand how people don't get it. But let's see. Let's read that one more time. If banning something doesn't stop it from happening, why does that logic only apply to guns, to pew-pews, and not people's bodily autonomy or the rights to exist freely? Can we make it make sense? Because it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. So people often want to say, well, marriage should be between a man and a woman. Marriage is a Christian thing. Marriage has existed in many cultures and religions long before Christianity. Yet certain religious groups want to impose their beliefs on everyone, even though America was founded on religious freedom, not Christian rule. If we condemn other countries for doing this, if we quite literally condemn other countries for using religion to strip away human rights, then why is it okay for it to happen here? How is that not hypocritical? That doesn't make sense to me. We literally have, and I'm not saying we as in me, I'm saying we as in like a lot of America as a whole, has so much, well, actually, no, yeah, we as in me. I don't think any country should have laws that are based on religion, because not everybody's going to practice that religion. But I don't have the hate a lot of people have for those people. I have more compassion and understanding, and it doesn't mean that I don't think a lot of people that take advantage of other people, like, you can recognize the bad people in every situation, no matter where you're at. There's plenty of bad people in churches. There's plenty of bad people in schools. There's plenty of bad people that live in my apartment building. But we are all humans at the end of the day. And to have compassion for other human beings is something I feel as if a lot of America lacks. And that's very sad. So, yeah, I just don't understand how we can judge other countries for doing what America is quite literally trying to do right now. And I'm not saying any of this because I hate conservatives or I want to attack Christianity, because like I said, I used to be on the other side of this argument, like quite literally used to be part of the protests on the other side of this argument. So I'm saying this because I've watched rights be taken away in real time. I've lived through so many traumatic things, and I'm not talking about my personal life. I'm just talking about the fact that I'm turning 30 this year, and just the amount of stuff that I've witnessed in my lifetime is crazy. I really wonder what the history books are going to say about today's day and age in the future, if we make it that far, or if they don't burn all the history books or, rewrite history. But yeah. Anyways, I'm not saying this because I hate conservatives or I want to attack Christianity. I'm saying it because I've watched our rights be taken away in real time, and the exact same playbook that was used to take abortion rights is now going to be used to go after LGBTQ plus rights, and specifically gay marriage. I think same-sex marriage is going to be one of the first things that they try to go after, other than the whole taking the T out of LGBTQ plus, This isn't fear-mongering, it's facts. It's just straight facts, or kind of like gay facts, I guess. Yeah, sorry, that was lame. Anyways, if you're gonna be part of this channel, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of very awkward humor and very, very dumb jokes. So get used to it. Anyways, yeah, but what are we gonna do about this before it's too late? Because myself, I'm trying to put myself in a place right now where this is uncomfortable. I don't like doing this. I don't like making these videos and putting my voice out on the internet, especially when it sounds like this. But I also don't like sitting around and being complicit and watching rights being taken away. I don't like the fact that we are constantly being so censored, or the fact that so many people are just so neutral when this is not a time to be neutral. And I myself have been that neutral person for a very long time. If you care about LGBTQ plus rights, abortion rights, or basic human rights in general, please speak up. Please use your voice while we still can. Use platforms to get your voice out there, because that's going to be, for one, what helps educate other people, and for two, it's going to be what helps other people feel as if they can speak up and speak out as well. And I feel as if that's something so important, is the fact that we need to utilize the First Amendment while we can, because who knows what's going to happen to the Constitution that's unconstitutional. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I guess just like drop a comment in the video. Let's see what other people are thinking. I do want opinions from other people for sure. And let's try to get the word out before they keep trying to convince us that it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, because they're doing a good job trying. And I've had a lot of people like quite a few people literally say, no, you have nothing to worry about. They are just trying to give it back to the states. And then when I show them the literal bill, hold on, let me find it. HR 722, the 14th Amendment Fetal Personhood Bill, to show that they are trying to federally ban abortion, and they gave that back to the states. What makes me think they're not going to do it to Our Rights Next? When I give them that, it kind of gives a different perspective. And I've had that conversation with a lot more people than I want to admit lately. So please do what you can. I feel as if a lot of this happening right now, unfortunately, does have a lot to do with Christian nationalism creeping into our laws, and that's a scary thing for sure. I actually already have an outline for my next video, and it's going to be on why the separation of church and state in our government is important, and how we came up with the separation of church and state. I kind of went into a whole little deep dive of separation of church and state and why it's there to protect basic human rights so that we don't end up in situations like we are now. So if you want to see that next video, please hit subscribe, turn on notifications, I guess. I don't know how any of this works. I guess we're learning together. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. And please, please, for the love of God, fact check stuff. Fact checking is so important. And I don't know why all of a sudden it became such a big thing that we shouldn't fact check. But in school, we literally had to fact check everything that we did and then cite our sources. And so listed below, I'm going to have my sources of how I came up with the outline of my video. And I do always try to make sure that I can use the most non-biased, non-opinionated sources. And that's not always going to be the case, because sometimes some sources are definitely going to be a little more opinion-based. But I do strive to do what I can to use the most non-biased sources around, because I think that trying to separate opinion from fact is so important. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.